Okay, forgive the echo. This will be short. I wanted to show you something very, very, very cool. Oh, I've just connected. I built a trading, uh, coinbase trading bot, and I call it a bot now instead of an AI because I set out to make an AI agent and I just made like an algorithm, basically. So it doesn't reason over trading data to make a trading decision. It examines rows in a database, a spreadsheet, and then runs a calculation across them, and then runs it through something to assess a win probability. And it's like if it's above 60s something, send it here. If it's below this, don't trigger the automation. And that's it. And so like the actual intelligence of this thing is limited. The well, I may not be able to show you because I don't want to restart this video. But yeah, so here's like the basic logic of it. There's two parts. There's a data factory which grabs trading data. Actually, it grabs candle data from Coinbase for pairs, trading pairs I've specified, USD and USDC pairs. So technically there's 685 trading pairs available that you can run this over. I have 88 chosen, I think. This is not gonna work, so I'm not gonna be able to show you. But it doesn't matter. So it ran successfully, is what I'm trying to tell you. So this thing started from scratch. I didn't start from a template or anything. It just started from prompts, um, which it was very fun. I did this all last night. Uh, so it gathers the trading pairs, 3 years of 15-minute candles. It runs a set of technical indicators. This whole thing was chosen to be called the conservative opportunist or the cautious opportunist. And I asked it to integrate the Kelly criteria of, in the style of Nassim Taleb, and it used fractional Kelly and create something where the Kelly criteria is sort of at the end, the gatekeeper of the decision making tree and risk assessment, and decides how much of a bet to bet, if in fact there's a bet to bet. And so earlier processes in the workflow decide if there's a bet to bet, and it's very conservative. It's so conservative that it didn't find a single opportunity today. I ran it for like 3 hours straight, and every 15 minutes it looks over a set of trading pairs. It's already been trained on historical indicators uh, for every 15-minute candle that's ever existed for that product. Um, and so so based on that historical data it's been trained on and the current indications, it uses something called like a conservative opportunity buy opportunity or something question mark. And if it doesn't meet that criteria, meaning if the price is not like in a steady fall, um, I forget the words, my words are not coming to me, but if it's basically not a massive price drop and it's obvious to the point that it would have predicted greater than 60% wins over the historical data, then it won't even recognize it as an opportunity. That's how conservative it is. And it's only looking at, I think, 14 different indicators, and none of them involve momentum. So this is what I've been learning is it looks at sort of static snapshots of candle data and assesses the assesses whether there's an opportunity just based on similar like snapshots. And I need to change it so that it also is looking at momentum and possibly also looking at the social sentiment score of that trading pair and other things. There's all kinds of different things you can you can do, but imagine a spreadsheet that has 3 years worth of 15-minute candles and the specific indicators for, just this has 8. And I've learned that it's not data rich enough. It doesn't incorporate momentum. It doesn't incorporate social. It doesn't incorporate lots of things. It doesn't incorporate sort of the size of the order book and these kind of volume. Actually, it does volume, but so eight eight data uh, values is not enough to give it. It's not rich enough data for it to find opportunities consistently. But if you add 9, 10, add momentum, then then you have to get like an expensive GPU, apparently, to even be able to train on that data. It gets so complex. But um, I found a way to kind of do it for mostly free. So right now, it's so conservative, it never finds an opportunity. It might, if I let it run 24/7, it might find one opportunity per day. One opportunity that it then has to assess further through these through these other like decision nodes. This is the screener. Does it meet the conservative buy rule? The RSI under 30 and the price at or below the lower Bollinger Band. If it does, which apparently is extremely rare, then it will validate it further through volume, MACD. I don't know what all of those are, by the way. And then it generates a probability, which it then passes to a Kelly criteria, which has its own little module. And in theory, it might find one opportunity a day to assess, maybe a couple opportunities a day to actually put a buy in or put an order in. And this video is getting long, but yeah, so the two parts are sort of separate. The data factory builds the brain or builds the data model, and then there's a training phase that's not represented here. And that's sort of like an expensive thing, might take 2 or 3 days running on Google Cloud. Uh, and then there's an actual trading agent. This one is dumb, but future ones are going to be smarter. And yeah, so it turns out if you just use the English language and explain very concisely sort of the workflow that you want to see executed in code, you can ask Gemini 2.5 Pro or another to break it down into discrete steps, assembly phases, or assembly steps, and break it down into phases, and then break that down each phase into task sets. And then you can give each task set to a separate agent in Cursor or another coding agent, and they'll assemble it for you. And if you get problems, you can pass the summary, you can ask the agents to summarize the problems for you, pass it back to Gemini. Gemini can assess it in terms of the total workflow, give you prompts to help you reassemble it, and then by after 7 or 8 hours, you have an actual live trading agent. So this would make money, just rarely, and not much since I'm starting with so little. But yeah, so you could start visual, something like this. You could create a workflow, have this little tool generate the mermaid diagram code for you, pass the mermaid code over to Gemini and say, this is sort of the workflow I'm envisioning, you know, uh, formalize it for me better, and there you're off. So um, the next thing is to incorporate momentum and like is to train a like actually spend a little bit of money and train an agent that can assess momentum and all kinds of take the order book. It's going to be a really large file and a really long training process, 2 3 days or something. But then you have an agent that's trained on all the data. So if you have any ideas, let me know. This was way longer. I just haven't been able to talk to anybody about it. But it did run. You'll just have to take my word for it, and it did work. So, all right, love you.